We need to take into account that Josh, the new CEO, got in at the 11th hour to try and steer the spring-summer product in the right direction with this focus on Britishness and on iconic Burberry products, the check pattern, more realistic pricing. And this is indeed what we saw going out of the stores in the second quarter. So it got in August, just in time, at the very last minute to try and do something. The fact that organic growth is improving while being still negative, I think is a sign that the new marketing vision works. We expect even more good news in the second half when the full winter product is going to fully represent the new marketing approach. And that means a lot to investors, clearly, because investors and the stock market in general try to anticipate news and events. The stock was up a lot before one could see tangible signs in the market that Burberry was actually working, and the confirmation today that it's on the right path, we expect, should continue to support the share price.
We're looking at a 5-year chart right now, and the stock is down about 15% over a 5-year period. It's bounced to almost 30% this year, but it's still got a ways to go if it's going to revisit its trading highs. If there is still a lot left in this transformation story, even though the stock has performed well so far this year, do you think there's more in this? It's got legs to go from here. Would you suggest to clients to buy in even at these elevated levels relative to where we were at the start of the year?
That's what we think, and that's why we've been sticking to our recommendation. We upgraded Burberry last year after seeing Josh take over and the new marketing approach becoming apparent, for example, in the advertising campaigns that he was instrumental in getting into the market. As you say correctly, the stock could potentially look expensive on PE, but we are now looking at a company with significantly lower earnings than normal. When we look at the stock from an EV to sales perspective, and if we anticipate normalization in profit generation going forward, then there's still a lot to go, indeed. And the other thing we need to take into account from a broader business and strategic perspective, we need to take into account that the high-end soft luxury brands have increased their prices a lot. In the most recent quarters, we've seen brands with a more moderate pricing approach. Take Coach, for example, or Ralph Lauren, doing well. And I think that Burberry is also potentially going to benefit from this middle ground structurally and for a few years. So this is comforting when thinking about backing this story.
Luca, may I ask you about the strategies there at Burberry? Of course, there's a big focus on outerwear. We know the trench is one of their iconic products. But some analysts have mentioned that maybe in the long term, that could bring some issues because, of course, because of the lifetime of the product. I know there is a renewal issue there. You might buy a trench, but you're going to buy one every year. So can I just have your take on the strategy built around outerwear for Burberry?
Well, clearly, for Burberry, the trench coat is their best foot forward, but what we've seen is an effort to try and broaden this appeal to other outerwear products, including the parka, to accessories. Scarves, for example, have become an important element in their approach. And I think that complementing that, you could possibly think about leather goods as well, provided, of course, that Burberry goes back to being a price follower in leather goods. There was a time in the past 4 years, especially in the most recent Burberry interpretation before Josh came on board, that the idea was that Burberry should be pricing in line with leather goods giants such as Vuitton, Prada, or Gucci. I don't think that that was realistic. And I do think that consumers are very keen on handbags if they can buy them in the 1,000 to 2,000 euros or pounds range, and less is possible to be found and bought at higher end brands, including maybe some of the mega brands like Vuitton, who has come back to a more realistic pricing approach as well recently. So I think that there's room for Burberry to grow, despite the fact that their products have high durability, which, in the grand scheme of things, should be seen as a positive for consumer, especially at a time when value for money considerations are being raised.